spoken about expendables, electricity and water. Fuel is another one. So we try to make sure that our engine is running properly, we don't rev it too high, and we're aware of the fuel usage. So we're going to go through the engine in a second, but there is another user of fuel, and that's the heater. So we have to be aware of how much fuel that uses, and again, economy is everything in this. Marine diesel is not all that expensive. It's the very same as road diesel for most people. Commercial operators can use special marine diesel, but even at that, we don't tend to use too much of it. So know where the diesel tank is in this boat. It's in behind the engine, and know how much fuel is in it, and never run out of fuel. So with the engine, very simple way of remembering the checks to do on the engine. That's WOBBLE. So W is for water. Water is very important because that's what cools this engine. And there's a SailCork in here, which I can get at from in here. And that brings the water in, comes through the water strainer, comes down here. There's an impeller pump that drives it up here and back in here. And we add the cooling mixture here, and that cools the engine. So the impeller must be replaced on an annual basis and checked. And what's this driven by? This is all driven by the engine, and the belt here must be checked. Now I must check. W is for water, O is for oil. So I'm going to get a little piece of paper. So you should always dip your boat before you start your engine. That oil looks pretty okay, but we'll check how much is in her now. And it's right up almost to the very top. There's the top, there's where it is. And it's good clean oil. It's not quite black. It's only been changed very recently. So I'm going to put this yoke back in again. So O is for oil, oil is A-OK, and this is where we put more oil in, and we would have oil available on the boat. B is for batteries. So our two batteries are here, and these are specialized batteries. They're slightly different, the batteries. One is for starting the engine and the other is the house battery. They're connected properly, they're clean, and the connections are greased, so we make sure that's okay. Earlier we learned how the electricity goes on and how the batteries are turned on back here. Okay, so B then is for belt. So this belt here drives the alternator and the pumps, and it's a serrated belt. So the serrated edge belt is a better type, it won't slip. It must be able to make a half a turn and no more than that really. So this one is just about right. So WOBBLE, water, oil, battery, belt. L, look for leaks. Right, so I clean this off to make sure that if there's any oil comes down on this, I can see where it's come down, if there's any seepage from the engine itself, or if there's any water. There is an audible alarm here if we get too much water into her. So that's L, look for leaks. And finally, E is for exhaust. So when we've started the engine, we're going to look over the stern of the boat to see that there is exhaust water coming out with the exhaust air, because it's the water is what keeps it cool. So that's your engine check, a quick engine check done. And always get a professional to service the engine at least once a year.